Hi, this is Blake Angelos from Yamaha Corporation America here at NAMM 2017 up on Gear Gods. Here to show you the new Montage 1.5 firmware. So Montage is basically founded on three guiding principles, let's say: sound, control, and workflow. And version 1.5 makes significant enhancements to all three of those areas. So we'll talk about sound first. There are 52 new performances inside of Montage. Now, when we released Montage last year, we really focused on a lot of the very emulative content, the strings, the horns, the pianos, and so on. Well, what we wanted to do with these 52 new performances is really highlight its capabilities as a very, very powerful synthesizer. So the synthesis engine is really capable of generating sounds that nothing else really can. With its very powerful AWM2 engine that has lots and lots of great sample content, and then an 8-operator FM, advanced FM engine, and then this dynamic control interface that we call motion control, we use this whole system now to really do a lot of very cool, powerful, very synth kind of patches or performances. So I'll show you some of those right here. So let's do this one first, huh? That's pretty cool. This one's pretty fun here too. Check this one out. And on and on. There's lots of really dynamic, very interesting. Like I say, nothing really makes this type of sound. So there's new rotary speaker effect as well that we've added in here. Now, it had a rotary speaker before, but the new effect adds overdrive and a nice speaker simulation. So I'll play some of that stuff as well. So nice, fat, great sounding rotary speaker. I'll play just a couple other ones. This one's just kind of cool. So rotary speaker, we won't get fooled, right? Okay. So last thing for sound that we have in here, we've added 4 new dynamics processing. One of them is upward compression, downward compression. So upward compression takes stuff that's very low in the mix and brings it up. anything that's too loud, you have downward compression for that. We have parallel compression, which takes both the dry signal and the compressed signal. It's great on drum kits. It kind of gives it a little bit more of the nuance of some like lighter sort of snare drum things. That comes out a lot more. And then we have presence that we've added that just overall brings the nuance of the entire mix up. So there's all these very nice dynamics processing for recording purposes, production, and so on. Additionally, as far as with control, we have a bunch of new control things, but the coolest one that I think is in here is Auto Beat Sync. What Auto Beat Sync does is it takes something like an arpeggiated sequence, something like this, or a performance that's so many like... Now, if you wanted to play with that in a band, generally what everybody has to do is they have to have in-ears or good monitor, and everybody has to sync to the arpeggio, which is kind of a drag, because now there's not a lot of breadth in music. Well, what Auto Beat Sync does, and you can see it in the screen down here, I'll go over here to tempo settings, and it has internal. So internal is the internal clock. MIDI would be if I had a DAW and I was taking in a signal from, Cubase or something, and then A to D in takes the audio input over here and forces the tempo of the groove, and if it's a strong, good percussive groove, the tempo of the arpeggio will follow it. And I think I can fairly easily show this. Yes, I can, with my phone. So I have a little app in here that's called Synthbook. And Synthbook has a whole bunch of drum grooves, so this is a pretty good... So now, as the tempo's going here, stop it here. Okay, I can tap in the tempo so it's close to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when I hit the start, you'll see I did it in. Check it out. Catch up to it? But that's what Auto Beat Sync does. And then lastly, just in the screen here, there's just a lot of new views in here. You can see a lot more. I can see things like where, what algorithm is. This is an FM part. I can see that. The operator level, I can go over here. That's an AWM part. I can see whether, what elements for that part are active. I can see key ranges, and I can set velocity ranges. And this is pretty cool how this works. If I want to set a velocity range for something, I can just simply press it, and you can see how it responds. So now that part, when it's on keyboard, now I velocity compress it between 85 and 127. And you can set it up, and you can see visually. So there's a lot of at-a-glance things that we've changed. There's also the ability that if, with the super knob, since it controls all of these parameters and you see them all turning at the same time, sometimes it's nice to I wonder what everything's doing, so you can release things from the super knob. So when I go to super knob, you can now turn off stuff so that now you see these three are not moving. So if I want to really figure out what the super knob is doing just to this first part, I can release it there. And I can independently edit things and release it from the super knob. And of course I can all bring it back as well, but I can save those in scenes as well, so I can instantly recall that stuff. So just little things with usability in the workflow part of our three equation here: sound, control, and workflow. Lots of new stuff in here, and that's just kind of a little bit of it. If you go to YamahaSynth.com, there's actually an article called Introducing Montage Firmware 1.5, and it goes through a bigger list of everything, and I actually have audio files I place in there so you can hear some of the new performance content, the rotary speaker, and I actually have a thing where I have a bass and a drum groove, where I have it with no compression, and the second one I have the drums with parallel compression and compression up, so you can really hear the difference between the two files. Same files, just one with compression, one without. So lots of good content up there as well for all people that go up to Gear Gods. If you want to check out YamahaSynth.com for more information, that's where you should go. And once again, this is Blake Angelos from NAMM 2017 on Gear Gods. Thanks a lot for watching.